You can already see, so this is sometimes called ram's head wedging. People claim it kind of aligns the particles in the clay for wheel throwing.
Hi everybody, I'm here today with the co-owner of SP Gallery, Courtney, and she's going to teach me how to do some wheel throwing, and I am very excited. I've already cut my nails, and I don't know if you guys know me, I'm a long nail girly, so I'm obviously extremely excited because they're nubs right now, so I'm getting in deep and dirty. So Courtney, can you explain a little bit of what we're going to do today?
Yeah, sure. Typically what I do for a beginner, I know you've taken a few classes.
I'm still a beginner.
We introduce either throwing a small dish or a small cylinder.
Okay.
Something that doesn't require a whole lot of skill. I'm building a foundation for you, just in case you want to continue on and taking classes. So yeah, a small dish that we can eat out of when we're all done with it, and yeah. We can go ahead and turn our wheel on. And while we're here, we'll just make sure it's spinning in the right direction. For our right-handed friends, we want it moving counterclockwise, which yours looks good to go.
Okay.
Awesome. And then to stop the wheel, we just kind of drop our heel. And that's how I kind of check to see if I'm comfortable at the wheel. If I can comfortably drop my heel to stop it, then I feel good. I'm good to go. I always think it's nice to just see how fast it can go, just in case. Yeah. It's not too scary. It can feel a little scary, but nothing's gonna happen, it's okay. And then maybe we can back off of the speed by dropping our heel. And let's find a slow speed. Our slow speed is probably great for adding details to our work when we're close to being done, but I'm gonna be at more of a medium speed for the most part of our time throwing today. What I like to do is hold the clay in my right hand, point to the center of the wheel with my left hand, and then we're gonna toss it down as close to the center as possible with a good amount of force.
Okay.
There you go. And if we're a little off center, we can always just scooch it a little closer to the center.
Okay.
Beautiful. So what I like to do before I get going is take my hands and sort of squish the clay down as I'm rotating the wheel. And what that's going to do is make sure that this isn't going to fly off. It's even more stuck to the wheel.
Okay.
Beautiful. And maybe to double check it, I can start my wheel pretty slowly. And I'm patting more so from the sides. There you go. And what's happening is we're starting to form maybe more of a cone shape with our clay. It's a little wider at the bottom, a little narrower at the top.
Okay.
And again, this is just making sure it's nice and stuck to the wheel. And if we want to triple check things, you can take one dry finger, maybe your right pointer finger, with the wheel turning slowly, push into the clay at the bottom. And what I'm trying to do is seal this clay to the wheel head. So you might have to push just a little harder. There you go. Beautiful. It doesn't need to look pretty, we're just kind of sealing it. Looks good.
Okay.
It is stuck, we're set. All right, so we can go on ahead, take our sponge and drizzle a little bit of water over the clay, wet both of our hands. Beautiful. And I always just like to take a moment with my beginner students, just feeling the clay, seeing what that's like. I'm not adding any pressure to the clay, I'm just kind of resting my hands over top. You might feel the clay forming a slip on your hands, right? Which is just the watered down clay.
I was gonna say, I know that word.
This kind of helps us work with the clay.
Okay.
If it does bug you, at any moment, you could always reach over, grab your sponge, and kind of start fresh.
Okay.
You might feel your hands after some time with touching the clay. You might feel your hands taking moisture out of the clay.
Yeah.
So every now and again, I like to reach over, grab some water. There you go. You can also do that with your sponge too.
Okay.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna set my speed maybe more so at a faster medium speed.
Like this.
Yeah, that looks good. And in the beginning, I like my wheel moving a little faster so that I don't have to use as much power. The wheel is gonna help me out with this.
Okay.
So when we're at the wheel, we always wanna keep our arms kind of anchored to our core.
Okay.
And then we can rest them either on the splash pans or on our legs here. But I'm
Okay.
just trying to keep everything nice and close to my body.
Okay.
My upper body, sometimes you might see it hovered over the clay like this. I just feel like that gives me a little more power with moving the clay. So what we're gonna do is take our hands, bring our wrists together. So we're kind of forming this whale tail. Yeah, there you go. And I'm gonna place my hands right in front of me, the side of my palm, that's gonna rest on the wheel. And I'm gonna lean forward, pushing into the clay. And what I'm trying to do, or maybe what's naturally gonna happen, is some of that clay is gonna start to move up.
Okay.
I want to start to form even more of a cone shape, and I might have to reach over to my bucket to grab a little more water. There you go. I'm also going to start to bring in my fingers, and it doesn't matter how they overlap, but I'm going to squeeze my fingers back a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. Do you feel like you need more water on your hands, or it feels okay?
I think I probably do.
Yeah, nice. And I don't really have a rule for how much water we should use.
Okay.
I say whatever feels comfortable to you.
Okay.
Nice. So I'm squeezing my fingers inwards, and I'm gonna slowly start to bring my hands up to the top. There you go, look at you. Yep, and you can come all the way to the top. Beautiful, until we separate from the clay. Look how much clay you moved.
This
That's
is so
awesome.
good. I'm doing better than I did before.
If you feel like you don't know what to do with your thumbs, you can either place them to the side, or once you make it towards the top, to keep this cone from forming maybe more of a weird shape, I just place my thumbs right on top.
Okay.
And that keeps everything nice and contained.
Okay.
Beautiful. We can
And
do
you just
that again.
keep doing this?
Kind of. We don't want our cone getting too tall, but the idea is that we've moved a little bit of clay, and maybe it's just a little less wobbly than it was when we first started.
Okay.
So I'm gonna lean again into the clay, bring in my fingers, squeeze, and slowly start to bring both hands up to the top. That looks great. Nice. Sometimes we have this little, some people call it a skirt of clay. A little bit of flared clay that's spreading out over our wheel.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I like to take my sponge and just clean off my wheel head. Maybe get close to that skirt of clay. Peel a little bit off. There you go. Beautiful. So when we were sort of leaning in and squeezing the clay up, our hands sort of finished at the top like this, right? I'm gonna take away my right hand,
Okay.
leave my left hand close to the top, but move my thumb just to the side a little bit.
Okay.
My right hand, and again, this is still a part of centering the clay. It's a little less wobbly than it was when we first started, but we're gonna start to form more of a disc shape and really get rid of that remaining wobble. So my left hand is gonna stay the same. I'm kind of holding on to the clay in the middle of my palm. My right hand, using the side of my palm here, is gonna start to push down on the clay. There you go. Some people prefer to make a fist. What I like to do is sometimes hold on to my sponge in the middle of my right hand. As I'm making a fist, I'm squeezing out just a little bit of water. Nice. And my left hand is staying firm against the clay. You can even see when I remove it, it's just a little wobbly. My left hand adds just a little bit of stability.
Okay.
Anytime you touch the clay, you want to try to do that gently. And anytime you're ready to separate your hands from the clay too, we want to try to do that gently as well.
Okay.
The clay is sensitive. It's pretty forgiving, but it is a bit sensitive. Nice.
Okay.
So if you feel like your clay is still getting a little wobbly,
Yeah.
we really want to make sure our left arm is nice and anchored to our core. Now it's resting on the wheel. It's not pushing down, it's more so pushing into the clay.
Okay.
But I might have to lean just a little bit more.
Bring it back up.
Yeah, just a little. But
Okay.
I do want to keep my right hand on top so that my clay doesn't get too tall again.
Okay.
So I'm actually still pushing down with my right hand. There you go. And when you feel ready, gently come off of your clay. That was beautiful. Let's check it out. You're centered.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Based on what we want to make, that kind of determines how wide this disc of clay is going to get.
Okay.
I think you have a good width to your clay right now. We'll be able to make something maybe a little wider and maybe a little shallower. Shallow.
Okay.
How do you feel about making a small dish? Do we feel good
Yeah.
about that? Cool. All right, so we've got our clay nice and centered. I did just a little reset with my hands. Took my sponge and cleaned them off a
Okay.
little bit. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to the top of my clay. What we wanna do next is find the very center of our clay.
Okay.
And the way I like to do that, I don't just wanna guess. I could, but maybe not. I'm gonna take my right hand, support it with my left hand. There you go. And this, I always like for my hands to kind of move as one unit. And so my left hand's just here for support. I'm leading with my middle finger just because it's my longest finger, but you could certainly use your pointer finger if that feels comfortable. And I'm gonna take my hand and slowly move it towards the center. If you feel like you wanna practice that a few times, you can. The wheel acts as like a whirlpool and it brings you to the center. Nice. It feels a little awkward too if you go past the center. But what I'm going to do,
does.
right? Yeah. What I'm going to do is once I find the center, I'm going to make a little indentation just by pushing down with my middle finger. Beautiful. We can go a little deeper
Okay.
too if you'd like. Yeah. Nice. You might notice the clay drying out just a little when we start to push down. So I always like to add a little puddle of water right there. Beautiful. Now, my other fingers are going to be there more for support, but I'm going to go back to the center. Notice how my upper body is going to shift a little bit, and I'm going to start to push down. There we go. Yeah, and you can push a little further. We might stop just a little early on.
Okay.
We can go ahead and stop our wheel. If you feel like you need to, if you want to try to move a little more clay, you might just have to push in a teeny bit more at the bottom, but almost as soon as I get to the middle, I'm going to really ease off of that pressure.
I'm gonna try it. Okay.
There you go. You got it. Gentle, gentle. Beautiful. And so now, here's where I would suggest slowing your wheel down just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, keep coming up. You're good. Nice. That's it.
Okay.
Nice. So let's grab a couple of tools. I'm also going to slow my wheel down a little bit. Not too much, but a slower medium speed maybe. I'm going to grab my wooden rib and my wooden modeling tool here.
Okay.
You can do a couple of things to kind of take care of this skirt of clay at the bottom. You could try going in with the scoop side of your wooden modeling tool, and that scoop is going to be towards you.
Okay.
You can see what happens if you kind of take that to the bottom. It might make a not so fun noise.
Oh yeah.
That might not be my favorite option. The point side is going to go into the clay, and I'm going to start to rotate the rib up so that the curved side is now touching the clay too. Nice, and that helps to shape the bottom there. Beautiful. Try to take your thumbs or your pointer fingers, pushing the wire down, and then slide underneath towards you and lift up. There you go. It's gonna flop. You're still good.
So what are some of the things that you like really enjoy making?
Centerpieces for the table, anything kind of based around dining, I really enjoy. I always envision whatever I make on a table. So I make a lot of vases, and people can use them certainly however they like, but I definitely see and have them on my own table.
Yeah.
I do make a lot of tableware as a functional or function-based artist. It's important to kind of think about seeing your art in a home and how other people could see your art in their home. So function does kind of drive what I make, but I love kind of, sometimes I call my work sculptural tableware.
So I know we've talked about firing and doing all the fun stuff, but if somebody is interested in getting started in pottery and they're a beginner, even more of a beginner than me, how would you suggest they start on it?
Yeah.
And take into account even like accessibility levels, like even if they wanted to start at home, how would somebody, or would you advise for somebody to get started?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, at least in the Richmond area, we have a lot of pottery studios, a lot of art studios, which is really great. These studios offer a lot of beginning classes for someone who's never even seen clay.
Yeah.
They can take a class and get a really lovely introduction to it. Taking class after class, I know, isn't always feasible financially. So certainly you can play around at home. Maybe once you've gathered a few skills, I always recommend taking as many classes as you possibly can. Clay, there's a lot. Clay is very involved. There's a lot going on, but certainly, you know, we have polymer clay, which isn't necessarily food safe, but it's a lot of fun to work with at home.
Yeah.
Play-Doh, certainly, if you just want to get out your creative release. But yeah, I mean, definitely taking a pottery class is getting out into the community. I know some of the studios offer just a little taste of a class, which might be a little less expensive than a full-on workshop or even a multi-week class. But there are lots of opportunities for people to take a class, even if they've, like I said, never even seen clay before.
That's awesome. And are there any places that people could perhaps take classes with you?
Oh, certainly. My studio, we're out in Amelia County, SP Gallery. We have workshops for beginners, all levels. We have multi-week classes, 4 to 6 week classes for people, but I also teach classes at the Visual Arts Center of Richmond.
Okay.
I also teach classes at Hand Thrown in Richmond. So I'm all over. I try to be everywhere. And now, actually, I'll be teaching at the VMFA.
Okay.
At their studio school.
So you guys heard, she's all over the place. I definitely recommend, I'm a pro now, as you can see. I walked to here expecting to probably fail the way that I did the first time. And just like I walked in the first time expecting to be an expert and walked out a failure, I was proven wrong once again.
Yeah.
So please, when you get the opportunity, take some time, check out clay, play with some things, try out new opportunities to explore art, and definitely come out to SP Galleries. But join us again next time for the Muse.